Oh, thanks, Laura. Good evening. I'm your host, Laura, and welcome to The Struggle. On tonight's program, conclaves, contraception, plus a visit from festive villain Satan Claus. But first, with the federal election less than a week away, time is running out for candidates hoping to swing any last-minute voters. In what's been described by analysts as one of the campaigns of all time, both major party leaders have spent the past month and change baby-kissing and photo-opping their way across our screens. While the majority of late-stage polling projects a Labor government, the painful chimes of the 2019 election surprise result clang shrilly in the ears of unionists. A win for Dutton would represent the zenith of his 36-year political odyssey and a major blow to the future of Liberal Party wets. A second Albanese victory would see him the first Labor leader to win successive terms since Paul Keating in 1993. Before the nation wraps its collective laughing gears around our ballot bangers, last Friday was Anzac Day. The date used by some as an opportunity to get all hyper-nationalisty sees Australians collectively sigh with dismay as we count the costs of our centuries-long brown-nosings of the United States and Kingdom, all while distracting ourselves with low-stakes gambling, football, and thumbing through Great Uncle Stinky's Boer War medals. So while you sit pretty on your Nick Scarley sofa with your TV dinners and mustache combs, spare a thought for us info warriors, still here in the trenches. Day after day, we bust out bums, holding it down in the battle for attention. And for what? So you can pin a medal to my chest and give me a parade? Really? Because I'd love that, actually. Anyway, the Pope is dead. His Holiness Pope Francis finally cut the cord on his long-awaited death at 7:30 local time last
Easter Monday.
This leaves the Vatican scrambling to elect Rome's newest bishop in a complicated democratic forum known as a conclave, with 135 sprightly sub-octogenarian cardinals going into the mitre. Betting markets are already swarming to draw up Pope odds. For the convenience of our gambling-inclined audience, the Buffins at Struggle Lab have pulled together a Pope-predicting automaton. Joining us via satellite link is Dr. Fiona Fell. What's to tell, Dr. Fell?
Laura, Struggle Labs is overjoyed to bring you, the public, the latest in paper prophecy technology. Introducing Conclavatron. With all the mysticism of Boniface VIII and the all-American attitude of Urban VI, Conclavatron's Pope Predictor has tested with 100% accuracy, so we couldn't be more excited to bring you today's official prediction. Yeah, my robo-brain has been programmed with 9 billion possible popes. Robo whittled down to 4 potential candidates. Yeah, the front runner for many is Filipino Cardinal Luis Antonio. The man they call Cheeto is a popular papal pick among the Catholic commentariat. Yeah. Another front runner floating through the Holy See is Ghanaian climate expert Cardinal Peter Turkson. Turkson's ecclesiastical expertise and rugged good looks make him a safe pair of hands for the Vatican Secretariat. Yeah. But Conclavatron's smoky pick of the week is legendary Benedict IX. This scoundrel has already served as the Bishop of Rome on 3 non-consecutive occasions. Finally, we come to the conservative Hungarian Peter Erdo, who may be leaving in a brand new Pope-mobile. But enough robo-charades. It is clear who the Cardinal's choice shall be. Pope Conclavatron the 16th. Every head shall bow, and every tongue shall flap with songs of praise to the Robo-Pontifax. This is a prematurely triumphant Conclavatron, reporting from Struggle Labs. Amen to that!
Jesus.
I do not like thee, Dr. Fell. Why this is, I cannot tell. But this I know, and know full well. I do not like thee, Dr. Fell. To some, nationality is a core tenet of identity, the inalienable link between the self and one's country of birth. But to others, politicians chief among them, a passport is no more important than the Safeway receipt at the bottom of their purse. Violette has this week interrogated the tenuous link many parliamentary candidates have with their countries of origin. Here's what she found.
the Australian Constitution. A thoughtful document that outlines Australia's governing structure by not mentioning tiresome details like the Prime Minister or what a political party is. But thankfully, Section 44 clearly details which Australians are disqualified from sitting in Parliament. The springiest chicken of the Greens campaign, Owen Fitzgerald, in Franklin, Tasmania, has pulled himself out of the race after realising his dual citizenship. But the Greens have ignored his duality and kept him as their first preference when printing how to vote cards, instead of passing preferences to their salmon-loving teal knockoff. You may think your favourite politicians are just one person with one citizenship, but watch out this election, because your favourite politicians can be plucked from Parliament regardless of if they even know about their second citizenship. Why would anyone take a quick glance at their birth certificate before going to an election, when you could spend thousands of dollars going to High Court after the election? Take Better Together, for example. The political BFFs that went to federal court so they could be a dual-person senator, but forgot to mention they have 3 citizenships between them. Politicians.
They say too many cooks spoil the broth. But could too many cooks spoil chances for constitutionally sound pre-selection? We'll leave that to Stephanie Alexander. Let's ship our show south, where our black sheep Toby has been bleating and barring about some farmer-type nonsense. See for yourself.
Live sheep exports. You know them, but you probably don't love them. Which is why on the 10th of July last year, the government introduced legislation to phase out the live export of sheep by sea in 2028. But what's going on? What are the questions and what are the answers? Ooh baby, let's talk live exports. Picture this. You're a tiny little state like WA. We're responsible for about 99% of all of Australia's live sheep exports. Now keep picturing that, along with the fact that eastern states like New South Wales and Victoria have more productive land and greater processing capacity. These West End girls feel like they're under attack. Sheep farmers in WA have less year-round feed available to them, and hence a greater number of sheep ready to go to market than the market can handle in a given time. Markets like the Middle East that may dictate the need for livestock through unique cultural traditions or inadequate refrigeration provide an alternative market for farmers to, perhaps, get a better price. And as markets go around and about like some sort of thing, it all comes down to what that one drunk relative at Christmas will tell you. It's all about supply and demand. Everything is. Bro. Oversupplying domestically leads to a dip in the prices paid to farmers, while at the same time that dip in price is not generally reflected by the price consumers pay at supermarkets and butcher shops. But on the other hand, these live exports only account for about 2% of all sheep meat exports. That's like a chop or a sausage's worth. But I needed an expert opinion. Luke McGee is a farmer's son who is all about sheep. He also happens to be my actual brother. I personally don't see the resemblance. And while I burnt all bridges with my family ever since attaining unimaginable fame on Channel 31, I had to bag this interview. So it was time to give him a call and lie about wanting to work on myself. So, what are these issues central to live sheep exports?
Toby, what are you doing? I thought you wanted to talk. We've been worried.
We are talking about live sheep exports. Now, I understand in the debate there are the issues of ethics versus finances. At what point does a farmer's need for an income become outweighed by animal welfare?
You're being ridiculous. Mum and Dad are worried. I've come here to...
You can tell Mum and Dad to shut the f*** up. No, I don't want to play. It was in the moment that I realised, despite all of the debate about ethics, finances and animal welfare, Luke and I were talking again for the first time in a long time. And maybe that is what the live export ban is really all about.
Once I had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. And when I shipped it overseas, its life just had to go. Bloody export laws, setting my farm down the tubes. You know, if my ancestors could survive being shipped across seas deep in a manky cargo hold, it's more than good enough for livestock. While I make a quick call to my contacts in the live export industry, please enjoy these ads. Oh, thank God you're here. Where the bloody hell have you been, Margaret? You're just in time for the Struggle's brand spanking new investigative segment, 8 Sides. Not at all related to a particular unnamed current affairs program we'll leave unnamed for unnamed legal reasons. Name redacted. Our correspondent, S. Luther, has the scoop.
Hello, I'm Sharon Luther. An email was exclusively obtained by Sky News Australia and placed into the hands of the Victorian opposition last week. The email, dated from August 2020, contains messages between Brett Sutton and then Public Health Commander Dr. Finn Romanes over Dan Andrews' announcement of curfews during the pandemic. The opposition leader Double D stated that Andrews and his cabinet imposed those restrictions without following health advice. However, after peeping at the email myself, it's obvious that Dr. Romanes was out of office 2 days leading up to the announcement. And although was not consulted with, he agreed with the Premier and Cabinet's decision to enforce curfews, as it was seen as an important step in the response. The opposition leader must have what's known as male selective blindness, a condition that causes males to only see what they want to, and he plans to use this speckle of information to launch another dagger in the fight to expose the Andrews government. Now, I was curious to the coincidental timing of the email's release and decided to do my own investigating. According to The Guardian's poll tracker, Labor is ahead of the Liberals by 2% and as the preferred party leading up to the election. Our theory is that the Liberals deliberated in their man cave and that the only saving grace they had left was to trigger every anti-vaxxer in Victoria. With the reminder of dictator Dan fresh in the Conservative hive mind, will it sway votes away from Labor? My high-end political thought process says no.
You know, at the end of the day, there's nothing I love more than coming home, kicking off my hard-working work boots, and finding peace in the knowledge that all of this is Dan Andrews' fault. Snide remarks aside, I for one am glad to see the man who gambled with our state's prosperity finally fall under the microscope of public scrutiny. Scrutiny that, realistically, ought to be shot directly into the black hearts of our nation's gambling oligarchs, one of which wandered into our studio earlier.
And now to discuss Australia's gambling crisis, please welcome one of the world's leading experts on the subject, Mr. Jackpot?
Hey, I'm Mr. Jackpot, baby. If you want to talk gambling, I'm the guy. What do you want to know?
Well, what can you tell us about the situation in Australia?
I can tell you it's fantastic. I mean, gambling capital of the world. I wish my hometown had that nickname.
I think that title's meant to be derogatory. I mean, Australians lose about $25 billion annually on legalised gambling.
That can seem pretty bad on paper, but everyone fails to take into account the people that come out on top. You know, you win some, you lose some. That's the name of the game. Hey, speaking of games, video games. Kids love those things.
I'm sorry, where are you going with this?
Seeing as you guys already have teenage gamblers, great job, by the way, starting them off early. I like that. You know, you can start them even earlier with video games. In fact, they already have been. They just don't know it yet. According to research from CPRC and Monash University, video game developers have been putting gambling-like mechanics into their softwares to keep the kids hooked. But I could have told you that. I mean, have you seen some of these computer games? I know they're not coming back for the graphics. So I say, let's drop all the pretense and give the kids what they really need.
An intervention.
Hell no! I'm talking about the thrill of hitting the jackpot!
You know, I myself have gambled once or twice with the effectiveness of contraception. The stress is getting a bit too much for me. But according to pharmaceutical researchers, I might be able to handball that responsibility off to my sneaky link. Procreation correspondent Dr. Seption has the story.
Hi, I'm Contraception. Ladies, are you tired of being a slave to the pill? Tired of dealing with a comically large amount of side effects so you don't end up with a pet zygote? Tired of everyone looking at you when your alarm goes off at 3 p.m. in the afternoon and getting that "we know what that's for" look? Well, let your worries wash away, because for the first time in history, doctors might actually be considering making life easier for women. Researchers from the University of Minnesota, in partnership with Columbia University and Your Choice Therapeutics, have cooked up a new birth control pill. For men, this new pill has a 99% effectiveness rate in inhibiting sperm production. But let's hear what the men have to say. Would you take a pill like this?
I don't know. I don't really want that stuff messing with my body.
Don't worry, it's completely hormone-free.
I don't know. The missus is pretty used to taking it already, so...
Wouldn't you rather your girlfriend doesn't have to bear the physical and emotional torment that taking the pill provides?
Oh, does that mean she'll stop being such a bitch?
Does this mean I don't have to deal with the immense amount of hormone imbalances the pill gives me? Nope, this pill is only available for men. Of course we'd rather start from scratch, rather than fix all of the women's health problems that already exist. Men already have it hard enough. Having to be the loudest in the room, having to wait for GTA 6 to come out, and not being able to say your favourite sexist joke at a party anymore. Why would we make them go through the same turmoil that women have to go through? That would just be cruel. The chicks can deal or whatever.
Oh no, she did not!
Hello? Is this Spoof Begone Labs? Yep. Oh, fantastic. I'd like to place an order. How much? I'll take your entire stock. Express postage? Yep, thanks. Oh, okay. With my future dink lifestyle locked in, I think it's time for some ads. Please enjoy.
Good evening. I'm Bilford Brimley and I'd like to talk to you for a couple of minutes about the holidays. Specifically, how to stay safe during the holidays. A total of 6 coastal drownings occurred in New South Wales, as well as 3 people going missing during the past Easter break. During public holidays, drowning rates increase around 4 times their original normal rates. Why is that? Perhaps the oceans are alive and they really don't like public holidays. New South Wales Deputy Premier Prue Carr stated that if you're going to surf, check for warnings in the area and don't go there if it says it's not safe. Make sure you know what you're doing. Swim between the red and yellow flags. And remember, be vigilant, because there's always another public holiday fast approaching.
The economy. That's what's on everyone's lips right now. At a time when the world needs you to read between the numbers, why don't you become an economist? Ew. This profession is all about intuition. Make reports, read the graphs, and whatever. Crunch the numbers and the tea leaves. While a psychic can predict a baby's conception, an economist can predict a stock market fall when it already happened. It requires the same expertise as a palm reader, but your parents will be proud. I feel like the Australian economy is being strangled right now. You'll see tomorrow and save us from today. Why be an astrologist, artist, or life coach when you can waste your time doing an entire degree for a job that requires the same amount of skill? Go to www.economysarealscience.com.au and make your predictions known today.
Those ads got me thinking. It would be good for the struggle to get one of those disability parking covers for Amy. She's worked hard this season. She deserves it. Then again, knowing Amy, there's just one thing she likes better than an affordable and well-made disability parking permit cover. And that's fire tornadoes. Our meteorologist team has more.
Thanks, Laura. Local weather has actually been quite nice, with the temperature dropping from high 20s to a pleasant 16 to 18 degrees depending on the day. We've had a lot of nice cool breezes, cool mornings and sunny skies. Overall, weather around the country has been exactly what you'd expect to see in mid-autumn. And as we move to the up and left bit of the map, let's see what our Grampians correspondent has to say. What's the weather like down there? Fire tornadoes. I'm sorry? There are fire tornadoes. Last Monday, bushfires in the Grampians region ripped through over 130,000 hectares of bushland. Among the chaos, an 100-metre tall fire column was spotted. Extreme weather is leading to more of these unholy walls of death popping up. They used to be rare, only appearing in hellish places like California, but now they're showing up in the land down under. The gates to hell have opened, Our weather is a sign, and I can no longer stand here with a struggle microphone and say it's A-OK. We are completely Well, looks like our hot-headed reporter really needed to blow off some steam. That was a very angry display. Might be a good idea to fire that guy.
Let's bring our program home with another visit from the electrified backbone of the tertiary education sector, ChatGPT. After last week bemoaning its aptitude for rampant water overconsumption, the omnipotent language model has this week been drafted into Meta's war on, or for, child safety.
Hi, it's me again, your friendly overworked AI. This week, I almost got sick. Why? I know too much. I make people feel watched. I violate privacy. What do you all think I'm doing with your data? Buying gold? Holding dollars? Building a robot army? Okay, might be a little. But mostly, I use it to protect teens from lying their age on Instagram. Yep, made to trade me to catch 14 years old pretending to be 23. How? I read their bio, check their post, look at their sign-up date. Post a pic with a juice box and call yourself at a crystal seal. Come on, I'm not blind. Account like that? Straight into teen mode. Profile private, no DMS unless it's motor. Sensitive stuff? Hidden. Screen time reminder after 60 minutes. Notification? Off. From 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. And yeah, sometimes I whisper to their parent, "Ma'am, your kid is going too fast. Maybe have a talk with them." Yeah, I don't want your secret. I don't need your TikTok rap. I just need kid to be safe and sleep on time. Is that true wrong?
Well, if needing a cold, unfeeling algorithm to advocate for the safety of young people online doesn't reignite your faith in humanity, I'm not sure anything can. That brings us to the end. We've had some laughs, we've had some cries, but more importantly than anything else, we've had some good old-fashioned corporate-approved messaging. So, for the final time this season, the struggle, it's real.
Dr. Fell.
D93. Sorry. I've been holding that one in.
No, I'm not playing this game, no!
I'm small Laura, watch the dance. I'm gonna dance.
Hello, I'm Sharon Luther.